probably back in March or April, 2 months after the book was due with a liberal interpretation of the contract. That means it was really due in like January. And we were at a meeting with the publicists, and they was talking about a book release party. And I'm with Ken and Danny at lunch, and I said, sure. And what I'm thinking is, if I ever finish this book. So cut to 2 months later, and we're in July, June, to be fair to myself, we're probably in June. And we've now started to begin the process of planning this event, inviting all of you here. And Ken is asking me, are you going to read? Well, sure. I'm thinking, if I ever finish this book. And I was pretty close, but as everybody who knows me asks the Trushes, my wife, they will say, come over to me, how are you doing, Jerome? I'm doing great, I'm doing great. Usually that means I don't know how I'm doing. Just God help me, let me finish this thing. Eventually I'll shave. Then we got a little bit closer, probably July, August, and now Ken, who likes to know what's happening, says to me, what are you going to read? What part of the book are you going to read? And I'm thinking, do we have to really deal with this now? I mean, it's like, we still got a month to the party or whatever. And I figured, okay, well, I don't want to read the end because it'll give everything away to those of you who haven't read it. I don't want to read the middle because how do you start a story in the middle? So I thought the beginning. So, okay, I'll read the beginning. This is my intellectual processes here. And that was how I chose the section that I was going to read. But something interesting happened the other night. And we were shooting a promotional video for the book with our friend Stanley over there. And Stanley had prepared some questions. And Stanley's quite insightful. And he asked, at one point he said, I don't even remember what the context was, but he said, really, what this book is about something extraordinary that happens to very ordinary people. And I said, you're right, Stanley, you should have written the book. But it struck me when he said that number one, he got it, but number two, it perfectly framed what I'm going to read to you, which is the beginning. And in the beginning, it's a very ordinary day. I remember, and I won't keep you much longer, but when we started this process, I had written a proposal for the book. And I'm trying to sell the book to an editor somewhere. And so I'm trying to cram as much of the story into one chapter as I can. And I knew there was a lot that dealt with the Trushes' faith. I knew some of the themes that we would explore, because I knew them by this point. And I wrote the first chapter and I sent it off to them. This was just for the proposal again. And Nancy had read it and she said, we're just ordinary people and I really would like to keep it that